Today on Destination Polaris, we're off to California to run the Rubicon.
The Rubicon Trail is the granddaddy of all four-wheel drive trails.
We're up for the challenge, but we've added a twist.
We got all of our tents, sleeping bags, and mattresses, and all the goodies we need.
Load up the rigs. Destination Polaris starts right now.
Welcome to Destination Polaris. We are on the world-famous Rubicon Trail. Behind me, Spider Lake. If you want to tackle one of the toughest and gnarliest trails in North America, then you need to be here. This is my first trip to the Rubicon. Man, I'm jacked up. But you don't want to go solo to a place like this your very first time. So I brought along a couple of people who know a thing or two about rocks. We've got John Crowley, who placed second in the 2013 King of the Hammers.
It's a spot that's not to be taken lightly.
We've also got Ken Hauer, who wasn't far behind John in that race.
You know, it's King of the Hammers, it ain't King of the Cream Puffs.
It is gnarly and it does beat you up, and you really need to know what you're doing, and you have to come with people who have been here before. That really helps.
And finally, Jacqueline Tyson, who knows just about every single rock on this trail.
I might end up being the only woman out there. He goes, like, that's unusual. He goes, you typically are.
All right, Ken, I know we're right here at the trailhead, but you're gonna have to tell me where we're going.
Yeah, so we're gonna head to the Wentworth Springs Intertie. That was the original trail. And then we're gonna head through Ellis Creek, Walker Hill, and then the little sluice box into Spider Lake, and you're gonna see some awesome four-wheeling there.
Nice, so that's gonna be where we're gonna camp, is right up in here?
Exactly, right around Spider Lake, and it looks like a spider if you were looking at it on Google Earth or something.
Sweet.
There's a couple different entry points on the Rubicon, but most people start near the Loon Lake Dam. It's the perfect spot to drop off your rig for the day or the weekend.
It's about halfway between Sacramento and Reno, and it basically crosses the Sierra Nevada mountains.
So when we started planning this trip, I thought, instead of just riding the Rubicon, why don't we spend 2 days out here with one night camping? And that's what we're gonna do. I think everyone's a little leery about it, but hey, we're gonna give it a shot. We got all of our tents and sleeping bags, and I think we'll have everything we need, and hopefully the weather holds off and we get a nice good sunshine, and we don't get eaten by a bear or something like that.
When you got to cook dinner for, you know, a bunch of people, dinner and breakfast, I bought pots and pans and cooking stove, charcoal for the steaks, a grill to cook the steaks, coffee pot, water. I mean, I bought eggs and sausage and just assortment of stuff just to have for breakfast.
All right, I think we've got everything. Let's head out.
We're talking about an area that is, 20 feet wide, that snakes its way through the Sierra Nevadas, and there are hundreds of miles on both sides that there's nobody at.
only road in all of California that's open, that goes over the Sierra Nevadas, that's open 365, 24/7. It never closes, and that's really special. Today, I mean, we have clouds coming over, we have, you know, sunlight breaking it up. It's a great day to come out here and see it. There aren't that many places on Earth just like this.
Still to come, our journey on the Rubicon takes us into the night. You're watching Destination Polaris.
Destination Polaris is brought to you by ITP, the world's #1 aftermarket ATV and UTV tire and wheel source. And by Progressive Insurance. Think easier, think Progressive. And by Hatfield McCoy, where the trail riding adventure begins.
Welcome back to Destination Polaris. We're in California to ride the world-famous Rubicon Trail.
This trail's so famous, Jeep even named their car after it.
You know, it's iconic, right? I mean, everybody's sort of heard the name, the Rubicon, and in your mind you envision just this gnarly, rocky trail with these huge, big granite boulders the size of Volkswagen Beetles. And we have that.
Traditionally, people nowadays start at the Loon Lake side where we started this morning. And it's basically 13 miles of just gorgeous scenery, gnarly rock crawling, hardcore rocks and granite slabs. And you really have a sense of accomplishment when you get to the end.
The first major obstacle we came across, Granite Bowl.
That is probably the most dangerous place on the trail. And the reason is because one mistake can send you sliding quite a ways. It looks the easiest, but it's not.
The Granite Bowl is my favorite place on the trail. Sometimes I just sit there at the top and just look at the awe-inspiring of all this granite where ice has come through and just carved all this stuff and deposited these rocks randomly. Every time I go there, I often stop at the top and just kind of soak it all in for a minute. It's my Zen moment.
Hey, I've got a Zentastic idea. Why don't we stop for lunch?
We make burritos. I usually bring tortillas and then bring like ham and turkey and some Swiss cheese or Kobe or cheddar or whatever. Put it in a tortilla, roll it up, and easier than bringing bread. Everybody seems to like it.
We're about halfway to our camping spot, so we better get rolling.
I've always been a go fast guy, and so to have to slow down, read the terrain a little bit differently, pick your lines a little bit differently, and sort of flow with the trail and almost become one with the trail, that's pretty cool. To me, that's what the Rubicon's about. There's a couple of moments where I looked over at Chad, my co-driver, and I could literally see the white knuckling going on that he had on the bar.
My biggest thing is you get into obstacles like this, you're thinking, oh, you know, something could break, you get stuck in this area.
So after a full day ride, we arrive at camp.
You know, I think it was a great idea because it encompasses what the whole Rubicon Trail is about. We have a stream right next to our campsite. We have all of this granite around, beautiful pine trees. We've come through aspen trees. We have a lily pond on the other side of this hill. We have a lake, Spider Lake, on the other side of that hill, which we hiked up to and took a look at. It is absolutely beautiful.
Pulling out the tent and cooking on the grill and doing all those things camping-wise, it's not something that a lot of people experience, especially out here where, you know, there can be bear and mountain lion.
If you need a tent to fit everyone, Mike brought it. We all have our own tent, but Mike has a tent big enough for 6.
I'd used that tent once 8 years ago. It couldn't be that hard, right?
It's not a good sign when I'm reading the instructions.
Do we have a rug for out front or anything like that?
Yeah, sure, Crowley is such a whiner. You guys all know him as Mr. Cool. He is not.
Done. I just wanted to, like, while Mike was setting up the disco tent, the one that's big enough for everyone.
I promised a Polaris shirt for a few extra pieces of the tri-tip. So I'm already working a little bit of an inside deal with the chef.
Oh, it was amazing. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, from the girl who usually survives out here on beef jerky and granola bars, that was a welcome supper and lunch, and everything was fantastic.
There's really no reason why anybody can't come out here and do this.
Coming up next, you won't believe some of the rigs that used to run these trails. You're watching Destination Polaris.
Destination Polaris is brought to you by Power Sports Place, ATV and UTV Performance, powered by Summit Racing. And by Aluma Trailers, the best aluminum trailer available. And by Brimstone Recreation Area, where the journey is your reward.
Welcome back to Destination Polaris. We just spent the night on the Rubicon Trail. It's something people have been doing for more than a century.
The Rubicon Trail has been a county road 126 years. There was a hotel down at the Rubicon Springs, and then there was a hotel at Wentworth Springs, which is behind us. Back in the 10s, 20s, and 30s, cars actually drove through the Rubicon Trail. It's crazy. People would actually drive their cars through this trail with regular tires. Of course, they had those big tires with the spooled wheels. Cadillac Hill is on the other side of the trail. That's actually named after because the last car, it's a Buick LaSalle, but they call it Cadillac Hill because I guess somebody thought it was a Cadillac. And the frame and the fenders are still there from Lord knows when.
To think about a Cadillac coming down into Rubicon Springs from Lake Tahoe or from Sacramento is, today, it's pretty mind-boggling.
Can you imagine what that ride was like?
Yeah, it boggles my brain actually when I think about it. How much chutzpah you had to have to like, hey, let's drive our car through this thing, you know?
No cars on this trip.
It's just been in the last 5 years that people have seen how capable UTVs are. And that we can do this kind of stuff.
Razors are really becoming popular out here. You see them all the time.
There's a good chance you'll see Ken out here as well.
I'm the 4th generation of my family that's gone wheeling on the Rubicon Trail.
Ken and Jacqueline are members of local groups that help keep this trail open.
The Rubicon Trail Foundation was started in 2004, along with Friends of the Rubicon. in order to help preserve the Rubicon Trail for future generations.
Friends of the Rubicon is a group that was created in the year 2001. We basically trained ourselves to identify problems on the trail and then organized work groups to come out and mitigate those issues.
All right, still to come. Oh, we're gonna stop messing around with these little rocks and take on some of the big boys. You're watching Destination Polaris.
Destination Polaris is brought to you by Rockford Fosgate, car audio for fanatics, and by DJI, the future of possible, and by Maui Jim Sunglasses, the fastest growing premium polarized sunglass maker in the world, and by Progressive Insurance. Think easier, think Progressive.
The other thing too is you look at the rock right here, there's no gription on this anymore. It's slick from being worn down from all the tires.
Gription?
It's a word. You haven't
Gription's a
seen it?
word!
Need gription to get up that.
Welcome back to DP. It's time we take on the most challenging part of this trail, a place called Little Sluice.
Little Sluice it looks kind of like a sluice box if you got some imagination, with huge rocks sprinkled in the middle of the sluice box.
The boulders are so incredibly huge. It is a definite challenge for the machine, an incredible challenge for the driver, and it makes it so worth coming out here to be able to conquer the Little Sluice.
So here's the plan. John's gonna show us how it's done, and then Mike and I are gonna take a crack at it.
It's a little bit easier with a UTV now. It's still not going to be easy, especially in a stock Razor S.
Give it up for Mr. John Crowley.
Okay, so this is Little Sluice. We're going to be coming through here with a couple stock Razor S's. You guys are a couple newbie rock guys, so this will be fun to try to get through here. The Razor S's you guys are driving, they're completely stock other than some UHMW skid plates. If you follow instructions, I think we'll make it through instead of trying to avoid them. If you take your tire and ride across this, you have no issues with anything underneath you. But if my tire came around this side and the other tire's on that side, you can see that you're going to be high centered on top of this rock. So aim for the rocks.
I'm nervous. No, I'm not nervous. We'll see how good a teacher John is here.
Are you a quick learner?
I am a very slow learner, but fortunately these are rocks and you go slow.
Right there. You're all right. Okay, hold. Yeah, there you go. Back up. Yep, perfect. Now roll it forward. Perfect. You're fine. Pair that way. There you go. Once you climb, you're going to come this way. You don't know. You want to be aimed this way. You just don't want to be hard there because that front tire is folding under that rock. So keep it aimed this way, but not too much. There you go. You got it. You can hang back down a little bit. Okay, wait, hold on. You're gonna aim this tire a little ways away from this rock because gravity's gonna slide you right down into it. You're perfect right there. There you go. Not a problem. You got it. Piece of cake. That other line was a little bit better for that Razor S. It's a little bit more narrow. Comes right around that rock. You know, Jared made it look like a piece of cake.
I went first in case it went really bad, but it didn't. I did it.
Fine. Passenger tire. Carry that line right there, and then you're gonna come right up here, and driver's gonna go kind of in this little valley. Well, easy, easy. Straighten the wheel out a little bit. There you go. Okay, come on back down a little. Yeah, you're all right there. Just don't try to climb too much. A little bit of momentum on that. You almost had it. There you go. Now ease up. You got it right there. Piece of cake.
Yeah, that was actually pretty incredible. It's all about line choice and flow and patience and momentum and using some intelligence.
I think you're both ready for King of the Hammers. Jared and Mike teaming up.
Whoa, I don't know if I'm ready for King of the Hammers just yet, but we had a blast on this ride.
I think that everybody that has anything to do with outdoor power sports ought to do this at least once.
One of the top 10 rides I've ever done so far.
It's epic. It's truly epic.